do the slideshow and then we will get going. All right, hi everybody. Thank you for joining Jenkins online meetup. Today's session is on Jenkins in Google's Summer of Code Project Ideas Overview. My name is Alyssa Tong. I'm one of the org admins. On this call with me are Chris Stern and Bruno Verachten. Both are org admins as well as mentors. So in today's session, our lead mentors will be covering their project ideas. So before we begin, a couple of housekeeping items. This session is being recorded. Recording link will be made available public later today. After each project idea presentation, we will pause for a few minutes to take questions. Alternatively, you can put your questions in the Q&A window throughout the presentation. Our mentors who are not presenting will help answer them. We'll also have another Q&A session at the very end if there's time left. Let's see. Then, and then there's alternatively, there's, of course, after this event, there's discussion channels in Gitter and Discourse as well. So I like to remind everyone that the Jenkins Code of Conduct is fully enforced here as well as throughout our community. If you're not sure what this is, it simply means that be respectful and nice to each other. Okay, Bruno, I will hand it over to you now.
Thank you, Alyssa. By the way, could you please promote Mark to the panel, unless you have to, whatever. So welcome everybody. My name is Bruno Verachten. I'm also an admin for the GSoC project for the Jenkins project. I'm also a commenter and maybe an assistant mentor. We'll see this year. I used to be a mentor with great pleasure, but that's not the case anymore this year. The image of the mountain, that's something that our dear Jean-Marc Messen, who is now retired, used as a metaphor in order to tell you what we are expecting from you. Participating in GSoC for the Jenkins project is not a cakewalk. It's more like climbing a mountain. And I guess this one is the Everest, and that's not an easy task. And we don't want to get you scared, but we want you to be prepared, in fact, because some people attempt to climb on the Everest and they just die. We don't want that happens to you when joining the Jenkins project. Of course, you won't die, but you may suffer. You are expected to know a little bit about the Jenkins community and the Jenkins project before trying to get involved in the GSoC this year. You have to know how the community works, how we review the PRs, how the documentation works, and you have to know a few of the figures of the Jenkins project, the main people you will inevitably bump into while doing the GSoC project. And I've seen that some of you have already started, trying to solve good first issues, trying to propose PRs, trying to have new eyes of what we propose up to now. And that's something delightful, because sometimes there are some years or people are fresh and they imagine what the Jenkins project is without knowing what it is. And they are kind of shocked when they discover what's lying behind what they thought the Jenkins project was. So we need you to start to be involved before the beginning of the GSoC project. And some of you have already done so, and I'm thankful for that. So this year should be a good year. It's not too late, by the way, if you haven't started discussing with the rest of the community, if you are not yet member of the Discourse or Gitter, Matrix, whatever, you can still do so. You have to, how do you say, dip your toes or something like that. You have to test the temperature and see if the Jenkins community and the Jenkins project are a good fit for you or not. If not, that's not a problem. There are lots of other projects accepted by Google this year, so you could get your chance elsewhere. I'm not saying that you should not be there. Of course, please stay with us and give us your best proposals. That's what we are expecting from you. Alyssa will tell you about the calendar, I guess, when you are supposed to give your proposals, how it will be reviewed, when, and on and on and on. But first thing you have to do, please get involved in the Jenkins community in a way or another. Get to know us, get us to know you, so you will make a better proposal. And if your proposal is chosen, then we'll have a good summer of code with Google and Jenkins. You could have a look at the video after this meeting. It's Alyssa, Jean-Marc, maybe Chris also saying the same kind of things, but for previous years. But that will give you a good hint of what's going on during Google Summer of Code with the Jenkins project. I think I'm done, Alyssa, with this slide. Maybe next slide is maybe even mine. Yeah, I could do that. So I think we have 11 to 12 project ideas for the time being, but some of them are still in draft mode. So maybe we don't have a mentor yet. Maybe it's not an idea that is important enough for the Jenkins project and or community to be considered as a good project for this year. So that's why we have only 8 strong ideas for the time being. And on these 8 ideas, maybe 4 to 5 will be submitted as a Jenkins project for GSoC this year. So we don't know yet which one will be the best. You have to make the best proposal possible. We'll do our best to evaluate them, and then we'll see. So we'll see each other today, 1 hour, tomorrow, another hour, I think about the same time. So today we'll address only 4 of these 8 project ideas. So we'll present the 4 first today and the 4 last tomorrow. And as Alyssa said, don't hesitate to ask us some questions whenever we can during the presentation of each project. There is a Q&A somewhere in your UI. You can click on that, ask the question, and the mentors, commenters, admins will try to answer right away without interrupting the presentation. But in the end, if nobody knows, then I will read your question and try to find someone who will be able to answer the question. Alyssa, back to you.
Thanks, Bruno.
You're welcome.
So the first one will be, oh, you know what? We did not.
Yeah. We changed the list order, but not in the slides. My bad.
All right. Valentin.
Yes, so hello everyone. So the first idea we have is a project that we started last year also for the Google Summer of Code. So it's called the plugin modernizer. It's basically a Java CLI that we use to perform transformation and modernize plugin. And yeah, you will find all the detail on this page. And the idea on the second phase is to improve it, make it more robust, try to integrate it with the other tool we have on Jenkins, and or also to implement more transformation recipe. So the tool is using basically the framework Open Rewrite to perform those changes. So yeah, don't hesitate to ask a question in the chat, and I will try to answer them.
Okay, do we have questions? If you have questions, feel free to unmute your mic as well.
So I have a question, but I'm cheating because I know a little bit of the project. So how many plugins did you manage to modernize thanks to the tool up to now?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm asking you. Yeah.
Oh, how many plugins? Well, in total, with almost 2,000 plugins, but the amount that we're able to modernize, I have no idea, but probably
Oh, sorry, that was
few
just a
hundreds.
trap. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure, 100, that's for sure,
Okay.
and maybe more than that. So it's already a very positive project for the Jenkins community. And what do we expect from the contributor this year? Should they make new recipes? Should they change the way we build the project? So what do you expect from them?
So probably the main goal is provide those integration with the existing tool. So one of these tool is the plugin health score. So it's basically a tool that provide a score per plugin. And the idea is to integrate a plugin modernizer with that to either provide more data to plugin health score or also have simply better integration with it. It's also
Thank you.
possible during the GSoC to implement more recipes, so it's something that we will need to discuss also with other mentor and depending of the needs. For example, in September, October, we will have one more Java migration, so perhaps some recipe related to that would be useful to be implemented during the summer.
Yeah, Java 25 is just around the corner, so we'll have to do something with that. Debayan was asking that kind of question. What are the main aspects of the project that we should address? I think you answered that. And now we have a question from Ronak. How can we get metadata of the modernization process?
So basically, metadata is a JSON file that is created by a plugin modernizer. So at the moment, we collect information from the pom.xml, the available package. We collect data also from the Jenkins file, and then we create a JSON file based on this data. So that's something that can also be improved. We need to see if this data is relevant, if we are missing some information. So there is also some part of it that can be improved.
Cool. Thank you. Any other question before we move on to the next project?
We have a question. Mark raised his hand, Bruno.
Oh, I couldn't see that. Go ahead, Mark.
So you list open rewrite as one of the skills. Do you have any recommendations, Valentin or Bruno, on how the candidates could learn more about how they use open rewrite in terms of doing that task?
Well, I suggest to read the doc. So it's quite well documented. Also, one big aspect of open rewrite is the testing. So they provide also a good test framework in order to do some assertion of what is your code or format before and what you expect after. So this aspect about testing is also very important to make sure that when we implement a recipe, we are sure about the result and it's totally predictable. I'm not sure if it answered the question.
It did. Thank you. So read the docs, explore it and experiment with it. Seems like a good candidate. And thank you. That's great.
And you can also simply just read the code of plugin modernizer, try to clone it, build the project, run some of the recipe locally, run the test locally, and see how it's implemented.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks. It looks like we don't have any other question. Did I miss a raised hand somewhere? I have too many windows open, I guess. No? Then
Does
we're
not
good.
look like it.
Yeah,
Okay,
thanks a lot, Valentin. Next project.
So this one
I
is
guess
Chris.
Chris. Yeah.
Yep. So I was just going to get into some brief details about like what the project is, like what stage the project is in and what needs to be done for it. So so maybe I think like most of you have at least some interactions with the Jenkins IO website before, which is the point of contact for most people with the Jenkins community. And currently it's using a very old tech stack to build. And it's based in part Ruby, part ASCII-Doc. And that's why we have listed in the skills to study and improve ASCII-Doc, but it is still being used in the version docs, which is in one of our repos from the like 2023 GSoC project that started retooling, but we only completed the entire part, which it's kind of outdated, and we need to update that part as well. So the Gatsby part, why we use Gatsby is because like for Gatsby they have a plugin which enables us to like to use ASCII-Doc for the documentation itself. So this is to because like for the documentation team, we're very familiar with ASCII-Doc, and we want to continue using that technology. And for the static site part, which is the Gatsby site, so I think we have a skeleton ready right now, which is like kind of hiding in the docs.jenkins.io repo. But I think it's like for the new project, we may want to start from scratch again, because like I feel like for that part only, like we need to design how to integrate the non-version docs, which includes the blog posts, and the version docs, which include, say, the developer guide, the user guide, tutorials, and etc. And so like so for this project to be successful, I expect like the contributor to put in a lot of effort to complete it, because like it's essentially trying to play catch up with any new pull requests coming in to the old repo. And technology-wise, you should be familiar with, but you don't need to be very proficient, because like we want to train the contributor up as well in React, particularly using Gatsby.js, which is a React framework. Also, like for the documentation, I think it's like if you have taken a look at it, like right now, it's all in a single repo. So in the future, we are expecting to use two repos. So for the Gatsby part and the Tor part, they'll eventually separate into two repos, and they will be mapped to two different URLs as well. Or I should say like subdomains for a separate subdomain for the entire site. But we'll keep using Jenkins.io for the Gatsby side. So the migration part would be tricky as well, so that could be a challenge. And I think we could go to the project idea page once, go over that too. So you can see here the background for it. Like this may be a little bit outdated, but as for historical purposes, that we keep all the information from the previous project idea in 2023 here. And we have added some new information towards the end of this background section. So if you can scroll, up top, above quick start. Yeah, this is good. No, end of background. Yes. Okay, that's good. Don't go to. Okay. So I think it's like for like, if you can see this first sentence in this view right now, the other task you'll be tasked with is to improve the UI UX of the website. So that's to be discussed on an ongoing basis once the project is started. And for the quick start, there's some discussions about what you need to be familiar with. So those would be a good starting point too, if you want to familiarize yourself with the project and to come with a good proposal, and to maybe have some ideas about what you want to improve on, how you want to improve, and like what tools you propose to use. Say, for example, you think maybe we need a map feature for it, and you think it like one technology. Say, say you don't really I think it's like we don't really have one for the site right now, but we could add it. Say, if you want something more modern, you can use that too. But that you can propose in your proposal as well. And can we scroll down a little bit? And for the build process, right now we're using a makefile. So for the makefile, it handles, I think it handles the entire part. And we could add to it Docker containers as well, because I'm not sure if that's already developed yet. Because like in the future, like depends on how we organize the repo. So we could have a single repo structure. We can have a two repo structure, like I mentioned before, but that's to be decided. So that's not fixed yet. And we should also have like to make sure like we have some way to check the syntax and format, and as well as spelling. And so you could like, for now, like if you're interested in this project, you could start going over the Jenkins website and see if you can like spot anything you want to improve on. But one thing I want to bring up, but that's not very well known, is because like for Google, they have a rule about like they have some guidelines. So if you want to participate in GSoC, you're not supposed to have like too much involvement with us. So I would suggest like doing no more than 20 pull requests if you've just started, or if you are very eager to contribute more, try not to do too much in too short a time. Otherwise, we may have to disqualify you. But which is not we would want to happen. So I think it's like can we go over like the bottom part as well? So the project difficulty for this one is from beginner to intermediate, and the project size is to be discussed. It depends on what you have in your proposal. So and also like for the two different sizes. The first one I think is for on a part-time basis, and the second one I think is for a full-time basis. So the duration is supposed to be the same, except by one you work on project part-time for the first one, and for the 350 hours one, you work on the project full-time. And also for the expected outcomes, we can you can go over it if you are interested. But basically, we want to push us and the team to a complete retooling of the website. And I think that's about it I want to cover for this project.
Thanks, Chris.
I can't see any question for the time being. Would anyone have a question to ask Chris about the project?
I have one question, if it's okay. So, maybe if the answer is short, that's fine. Sorry, Mark, you raised your hand. I didn't see that earlier.
Go ahead,
Can I-
Mark.
Go ahead,
go-
Vibav. Yes, please, go
So-
ahead.
Thank you. So I wanted to ask why Gatsby and Antora was chosen specifically for this retooling and like modernizing of like Jenkins IO tech stack.
We chose Antora because it has good support for version control. Like for versioning, it's a good tool to use. And also it supports ASCII-Doc, which is what we're familiar with. So we'll keep using that. And the Gatsby too is like for like I think for other React framework, we may not have some ready-made solution for using ASCII-Doc for documentation. So that's one reason why we chose Gatsby. And also because like it's lightweight in comparison to say Next.js. So that's another reason why too.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
Mark, now? if you don't mind.
So this one, Chris, this one is a migration project, right? We've got an existing site with lots of different features. Does that, it seems to me that it makes it more complicated, more technically involved, and potentially more difficult. Are you at all worried about that level of difficulty in terms of the complication with, hey, we've got to preserve the existing functionality as we make this transition?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's that too. But I think it's like the project can get quite tricky at some time, like at some point in time. But so we'll try our best to work with the contributor to like resolve any issues they have. And also, I think like for this project to be successful, we have to collaborate with the Inver team a lot, also the documentation team as well. So maybe like it's good to pick up some people with skills, some soft skills, via this project as well.
Thanks, Chris.
You're welcome.
We have some other questions. One from Birajit. Given that the migration involves both technical and structural changes, what are the key milestones or deliverables that would indicate a successful transition? Should contributors focus purely on replicating the current functionality with Gatsby for UI UX? Thank you, Birajit.
Yeah, that's a good question to ask yourself. I mean, the first part. So, for like, if we answer a question for you, wouldn't be a good sign because that would mean you are like you have too much reliance on us. So for the second question, like I think I just answer that or just discuss it not long ago. It's like we're not supposed to like we should preserve most of the functionality in the current Jenkins style website. So it doesn't matter what we have currently in the Gatsby site because like you can start from scratch, like I said, because if I think that would be easier actually. And also because like we have to integrate the non-version docs with the version docs, and that's a tricky part too. So I think for UI UX wise, as I said previously, you're supposed to you can and you should make some suggestions to improvements for the UI UX. So
Thank you, Chris. Philip, you wanted to add something?
Oh, really? Just check it, the answers.
okay, thanks.
Okay. We have another question from Yash. Can you please repeat on the involvement and level of proficiency it is required to be selected for GSoC?
I think for the involvement part, you should have some pull requests open towards the Jenkins website previously. It would be a good starting point, and also like for the proficiency level, like you don't need to be very proficient in React, but you should have like some familiarity with React. So basic things like hooks and the functional like function components you should know. But I don't expect you to know everything about React. If you do, you're not supposed to be doing GSoC, I think. So if you want to be selected for this project in particular, you should show me like you have a good sense about UI UX. That would be more valuable than your like coding skills, I think. So I think it's like coding skills. If you do it in a like good enough way, and you show me your potential, you don't need to be like perfect at this point in time to be selected. So that's my answer to the question.
Yeah, thank you. One of the things which is important for us is that you grow as a contributor during the GSoC project. So if you don't know everything, that's okay. You have to know the basics of everything. You have to be involved. You have to be passionate, but you don't have to know everything. Of course, you don't have to. And we love to see young contributors grow within the GSoC project, whatever. So we're done with this one, and we have a thank you. Oh, you're right. Ronak, about joining the Slack channel, do we need an invitation or acceptance? What is that? Slack.com CD delivery? No, I think everybody's welcome. Alisa, do you know about that? you know, the
That's
Slack we
fine.
have for the CDN. Yeah.
Because I think that link expired, so we need to
Hmm.
provide a new one.
Sridhar, you raised your hand.
So let me clarify one thing. So still we have we're just operating a project on Slack channel. So yeah, I think this link is working right now. So we can just join this CDF Slack channel and then we can just search for the Jenkins plugin modernizer tool to get into our channel. So that's what I just messaged about in the answer section Q&A section. So I think that's what he's asking about.
I
Okay.
think the one he got is expired. The one he
Sorry?
used. The one he used was expired. So I think
Oh,
he may have probably pasted some links on this like Git channel before. That's why.
Oh,
oh,
okay.
okay, that's good.
Thank you. I think we're good. Thanks a lot, Chris, and thanks a lot to all for your questions. Are you done, Chris? Can we move to the next project, even if that's you again, maybe?
Yeah, but one thing I wanted to bring up is don't try to rush over things. If you rush, it wouldn't be a good sign for us to it wouldn't favor your chances, because I think like we want someone to be more reliable in terms of how they work. So that may, if you are more careful and more persistent, that would be better. And like having a lot of pull requests, but not doing everything very carefully.
Okay, thank you. Next one then.
Chris, are you there?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So
All right.
next
Yeah.
is Revamping Jenkins. Oh, this it's not the Jenkins website though. It's a success stories feature.
Okay.
It's not confusing this phrasing. Sorry. So yeah, let's change that first. That's the right one. That's the right one. Except that the title is a bit like it needs reworking, because like right now if you like it should be revamping success stories feature of Jenkins website. Otherwise it's like it looks like it's we're trying to I'm just
That
trying
makes sense.
yeah. So to go like currently we have a success stories feature which is available via the navigation bar of the Jenkins site. So because the former maintainer no longer has time to maintain a website, so and we may need to retool it a little bit to make it more modern, and yeah, let's go to that site.
It was this one.
Yeah, so it's like this is the current look of the site right now, but I think it's like we could do better than that. So we could redesign the UI UX, but most importantly, I think what I want to do is to like to not rely on maybe to use another framework for it, say Vid.js, because it's like it's even more lightweight than Gatsby. So because of because it's like what the infra team recommended too. So the map. So for the map here, it's like I think it's like we need to redesign this one too to make it interactive on this page, on the landing page, instead of like having a separate page for it. But that's just an idea of how we want it to be redesigned and revamped. So technology-wise, the website currently uses Gatsby. So that's what I want to change. And for deployment, it's using Netlify. So we may want to change that too. But it depends. So we need to discuss with the community, especially the infra team, to investigate means of like how we could improve the part of like the end-to-end process for the deployment of this site. And also like while we may want to add some new features too. So that's up to you. So if you could think about like how you can best present ideas, or like for example, like I'm in the stats, so my apologies. So you could think about like how you can allow the user to interact with the data we already have on the site more efficiently, so they can like know what Jenkins does for like the users who are sharing success stories. And that's so essentially want to explain like why Jenkins and what like and why not the other tools in the market. And that's the premise. Okay, I think that's we could go over that too. So can we go back a bit? Yeah, so project size for this one is a little bit less than the previous one, so it's about 175 hours. So you could ideally like contribute about an average 20 hours per week on for about 3 months. So the expected outcomes would be like I would want you to draft a proposal first, and give us a chance to review it and give you feedback instead of like putting everything out in the open, because like we have had some experience before with collecting drafts openly, which result in people copying each other's work, and it wasn't so ideal. So we want to isolate the experience and make it more fair to the contributors vying for the same project. I think that's it. That's all I wanted to say about this.
Okay,
Makes sense.
no questions so far. Anyone? That's fine.
Yay. Next one.
Maybe you should, yeah, next one. Thank you.
Right, next one is with VHub.
So
Oh,
hi everyone.
we have a, yeah, sorry, we have a question just when we
Yeah.
change project. Sorry for that, we have. What can make a contributor's proposal stand out? Is it mostly front end, be it in the proposal or in the PR?
I think PR doesn't matter as much, at least in our assessment process. It does factor in, like it shows us like what you can do and what you're not, what your weaknesses may be. But I think it's like the most, like about 50% of the the assessment is on the proposal itself, because like that weighs a lot more than your like contributions. If you do too much, it may not be that like good for you actually. But if we do have some pull requests, so it at least shows us like you know Git, you know the life cycle development for open source, and that would be like the basic requirement for selection.
Thank you, Chris. So we won't take any more questions for this project until the end if we have time for a global Q&A session. Sorry for interrupting you, Vian. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
No worries. Thank you so much, everyone. So this project on improving Tekton client plugins for Jenkins is based on an existing project which was created a few years ago, where you would be able to use the Tekton CI/CD system with Jenkins. The initial project capability was just to be able to create Tekton custom resources in Kubernetes by giving the API endpoint to Kubernetes and access to Jenkins to it, and then being able to create Tekton pipelines through Jenkins. This project basically allows users to use these two CI/CD systems like interoperably. So if you're using Jenkins, you shouldn't have to like learn a completely new tool just to use Kubernetes as a backend to run your pipelines, was the idea. So in this plugin, in this project, basically, we'll be continuing that work on improving the plugin. And main part of the project will be fixing the existing features because there haven't been updates in a few years. And more than anything else, like adding integration tests and unit tests so that we ensure that the project is like is like easy to maintain as well going forward for the maintainers. And for the overall community, it will be easier to contribute as well. And fixing the features, the integration tests and unit tests will be part of the 175 hours. If 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 the student would like to actually contribute more, then there'll be stretch goals, so which we'll have to figure out. So one of the ideas I have is inheriting, like getting outputs from a Jenkins pipeline and then using it for a Tekton pipeline. Yeah, and then another one would be to use it as this plugin as an adapter, where you can just run Jenkins pipelines directly on Kubernetes through Tekton. So like basically converting Jenkins pipelines to Tekton pipelines. So these are the few ideas. For this project specifically, you will need to know this will be an intermediate level project. So you will have to know Kubernetes to a certain extent, and Java, obviously, and yeah, being able to like work with Jenkins, uh, at least with like making pipelines and executing them. Uh, yeah. So these are the things the student will have to know. Any questions anyone has regarding this?
We have a first one by Kitsune Code. If we are given a proposal or focus on the success story project, should our main focus be on the UI side of the site? What would be the key skill or requirement that might be required? Oh, that was for the previous project. Sorry. So this one will answer at the end on the Q&A section. Let's keep it that way. So next question from Ki M. Sumant. Should we prioritize specific Tekton resources?
Yes. So currently the project supports only basic Tekton resources like task runs, pipeline runs. But we also want to support other Tekton resources related to like triggers, chains, and event listeners, which are part of like other adjacent Tekton components. So Tekton pipeline core has resources just to run basic pipelines, but then there are also resources which are given by other Tekton components like Tekton triggers and Tekton chains, which we would like to support as well. So that would be a priority after the fixes, initial fixes and testing is done.
Thank you, Vibhav. Oh, sorry for butchering your name, Vibhav. Whatever. Mark, you raised your hand.
So Tekton is Kubernetes based. Will the contributor if a contributor is selected for this, will they be able to do it without cloud resource access, or will they need to somehow get cloud resource? Can I do development work on this without having to own a cloud account?
Yes, that's a really good question, Mark. So you don't need access to any cloud resources. You can use Minikube or Kind, and you can run Tekton over there, and then you can run Jenkins in another container, and Jenkins can then have access to Tekton from inside of the Kubernetes as well through a service account. So that is possible to do as well. There is no, yeah. Thank you.
Sridhar, you still have your raised hand. I don't know if you just forgot to lower it or if you have a question. If you have a question, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Bruno.
No, that's okay. Thank you. Would we have another question?
I think we have a raised hand by Yash.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I can't see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
I can.
Yash, do you
Oh.
want to unmute and ask your question?
I'm not sure if I can do that though. So, Yash, you may want to type your question.
Yeah.
Q&A.
You can't find the unmute button. Okay. That's unfortunate. So
Maybe
we're
just
waiting for your written
yeah.
question. Oh, can you please? Oh, it's not Yash. In the meantime, Yash, while you're writing, can you please repeat on priority features to implement or enhance in the plugin? Plugin? Which plugin?
Tekton.
The Tekton.
Oh,
Yeah, the Tekton client plugin.
sorry, my bad.
So,
Vibhav?
yeah, so the features, so ideally we would like to support all the custom resources by Tekton. So the first feature we would have to support is just Tekton create raw, and then just fixing those features. So this project is basically for like improving the plugin. Like that also means not just adding more features. It also means improving existing functionality and adding tests and making sure that this project is something that people can also easily contribute to. And that also means writing like necessary pipelines, testing the project with integration tests, and learning more about Kubernetes, CI/CD, Tekton, Jenkins, and how these tools can work together in an interoperable way. So this is once the project starts, the first thing we'll be working on will be testing out the project and seeing what all bugs are there. I do get an understanding that maybe we are not clear on what are the exact success metrics for this project. So I will have to update the this website page to make that more clear. But yeah, the, do stay um make sure that you're on the GitHub channel for Tekton client plugin. I'll definitely post updates over there. Thank you. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Vibhav. Yash, yeah, of course you can't unmute because you're in the attendees, not in the panelists. So please enter your question before it's too late within the question and answer panel. Would anyone have another question for Vibhav? Oh, lots of questions. Okay. So this one is not related directed to the. Okay, Yash. I have tried to only use the command in the kind and kube control only through the documentation, but I don't have knowledge in Kubernetes and Tekton. How much do I need to know so I can get involved in this project? I have some knowledge by doing the how-to guides of building and extending a plugin and Java testing. Okay, thank you, Yash. Vibhav.
Yeah, that's a really good question. Okay, so to get into the to start off with the project, you will have to know Kubernetes, at least have a basic understanding of how to create workloads and how workloads run in Kubernetes. Because Tekton basically uses extends Kubernetes to create and has a controller of its own to create pipelines. So you will have to know Kubernetes to like a basic to intermediate level. You don't have to have used it in production. Yeah, there are a lot of online resources. There are also resources on how to use Tekton, and I if you have any issues, you can always come into the channel and go ahead and ask questions. But that's where this project is also like intermediate level. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So I can learn it on the go, right? Says I. Yes, yes, you can learn it on the go, but you have to, before making the proposal, you have to test the water, because you never know. Maybe you won't like Kubernetes, or maybe you will love it. You should try it just before coming in. Okay, done. And we have now more general questions. Yeah, I think we are good. Thanks a lot, Vibha.
Thank you.
Lisa, I guess it's back to you. We still have a few minutes to answer Q&A.
So we have about 8 minutes left. And so that's for today's session. The 4 projects ideas that we were presented earlier, that's what we will cover today. The rest we will cover tomorrow. So project ideas 5 to 8 we will cover tomorrow. So given that we have about 8 minutes left, we're open to any kind of questions. General questions are welcome.
Yeah, we have a first question, which is not general, by Kitsune Code. If we are given a proposal or focus on the success story, so it was about the revamping of the success story website, should our main focus be on the UI side of the site? What would be the key skill or requirement that might be required? Chris, this one is for you.
Thanks. So I think for the success stories feature, you should focus on both the UI and UX. And also improving the tech stack, so to improve the tooling as well. So right now it's like, because I'm saying this because seems like it's the site's not very well organized. It looks kind of primitive right now, because I think it's big, maybe because it was like it was made in a hurry, kind of. So that's why we want to improve on it as well. Yeah.
Thank you. We have one general question from Birajit. While drafting the proposal, what should be the primary focus? Ensuring high quality, well-structured implementation, or incorporating as many features and improvements as possible, or a mix of both? How do mentors prioritize, oh, difficult to say for me, between these in evaluating proposals? So this one is an open question for everybody, all the mentors, the admins. Who wants to talk about that?
I'm not a mentor, but I'm happy to talk about it if others are willing to let
Please,
me
Mark.
talk about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Chris, I'm also happy to just close my mouth and let you talk about it if you'd rather.
Oh, you go ahead.
Okay, so Birajit, the project intends for these efforts to exist for a very long time afterwards, right? It does. Jenkins, as a project, started 20 years ago, and people depend on it running well and accurately across many, many years. So for us, it's crucial that the thing you create can go forward. That's a crucial part, because if it can't go forward, then we've wasted the effort. So in order to go forward, it needs to be maintained by someone. And very often, the mentor ends up carrying the maintenance burden after the project is done. Therefore, it is in the mentor's own best interest to be rather demanding that you do really high quality work. So now, is there a balance between quality and features? Yes, certainly there is. Can I give an answer on that in any specific way? No, but as a maintainer, having you hand something to me that is inadequate, incomplete, flawed, and then think I am going to magically release it to production, care for it for the next many years, is mistaken, right? So for me, at least, when I was mentoring, it's crucial that the quality of the work is high enough that we can continue shipping it after your project is complete, and that we can continue maintaining it and enhancing it and porting it to, taking it to Java 25 and taking it onto new platforms, whether that's RISC-V or System 390 or whatever. There are all these places where it has to go that your project won't be able to do. But if you don't do quality work, we have real difficulty then, and it increases the burden on the mentor. Chris, maybe you've got a different opinion in terms of striking the balance between feature and quality.
I think quality is always important as regard to numbers of features. I think that depends on the project. Because like, for example, for the retooling of the Jenkins.io project, like that one you have to complete all the features to be to pass the final assessment. But for the implementation, we always we do in industry, we always aim for best practice and best structured implementation. So I think so it depends. So that's my answer.
I would say build a very strong base in your proposal. Build something sturdy, something we can rely on, and then add some potential features. I mean, be humble, but dream also. But let us know that this is part of a dream, some bonus features. But first of all, build something sturdy. Propose something that somebody else will be able to maintain. Because we know at the end of GSoC, maybe you won't be able to stay with us. You never know. So somebody else will have to tackle what you've done to upgrade, to keep it updated and so on. So yeah, be humble, propose something realistic, and then give us some good ideas for a feature that could be implemented later on. Or maybe you will have time to, you never know. You could find yourself being so efficient that you will be able to implement all the features, but just don't brag. Do something reasonable, something you think you can handle, but don't stop dreaming nonetheless.
We have like about another minute. So if we have another question, or it's just a comment.
Yeah, thank you.
Bruno's more optimistic than I am. Well done, Bruno. Well phrased.
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty naive, but another question from Joshua. Is there any restrictions to the new tech stack with respect to the success stories feature, or can we come up with our own options and our reasoning for using them? Chris, Mark?
Yeah, I think I did answer the question before. Is like we're inclining towards like using Vit, or we mainly use Gatsby, but that's to be discussed. But personally, I think it's like I like to use Vit more because it's more flexible. Because Vit is not really a framework; it's a build tool. Feels like for Gatsby is really highly opinionated, so may not be for everyone.
I think we're good, Lisa.
All right. Okay, so tomorrow, same time, same bat channel. Login information is the same. So we'll cover project ideas 5 to 8. I'm seeing a question from Yash. I can't seem to understand clearly the draft project ideas. Are they going to be included or not? Just curious.
Mm.
I think we answered Gitto too. They're highly likely not going to be, I'm not going to say never, but they're like almost not going to be selected by us.
Yeah, because maybe we lack a mentor, or maybe it's not valuable enough for the Jenkins project. So
yeah, we're not going to say
choices.
that. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's it for today. Thanks, everybody. I will share the recording in the Gitter channel as well as on Discourse and our meetup page. So until we meet again tomorrow, have a great one. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Elisa,
Yes.
do you have time to stay behind for us to discuss about the t-shirt program for for a success story?
Yeah. Let's get onto our advocacy and outreach channel. That
Do
okay?
we have that today?
Huh? we don't have that today. I canceled.